Hello everyone, my name is Valeria Medina, and this is my capstone project titled College Students and Life Transitions. The purpose of this project was to highlight how impactful life transitions can be for people, specifically college students. Being an undergraduate student in your final year, it can be overwhelming having to accept that there is a major change approaching. I wanted to take a closer look at how college students feel when they deal with life transitions and what their mindsets are when thinking about their plans after Texas State. I created my website to show that we might go through changes differently, but there are also similarities in how we navigate them. The target audience for my project was the Texas State student body. Reaching an audience this broad was ideal. I wanted to see how different groups of students navigated the topic of life transitions and graduation. Um, it can be so easy to get caught up in our own world that sometimes we don't give ourselves the chance to view things differently and change our perspectives. So the survey would help me understand how students rate their ability to deal with life transitions and what kind of perceptions they had when it came to life transitions. Then the website content would be based on the survey responses. Why this project? For a lot of us, attending university was the first step of our newly found independence, but that also meant we would eventually have to open the door to adulthood. Being in that mindset myself, I wanted to work on a project that would have value to me and also possibly help others. As humans, we are constantly in search for community and togetherness. I wanted my project to be a small piece in bringing some sort of comfort to anyone who might feel unsure about how to deal with any life transitions. The creative plan. For research, I researched some theories and past studies that were similar to my topic, but for the rest of the project, I dedicated my time to Schlossberg's transition theory and the four S's. Four S's are self, support, situation, and strategies. That and these are areas that Schlossberg thought that they have an impact in how individuals treat their life transitions. Then, with that research, I created a survey using the Likert scale in multiple choice format. Students were asked to rate how they handle life transitions and how other aspects of their lives influence those changes. Um, Still following the research, I created some interview questions to interview people, alumni, and career services. Their input was used to provide guidance and information about the possible future routes after college. After all the necessary data and content were collected, I created a website that was easy to navigate. This is the survey. These are some of the statements that students were required to answer. The data was used for the infographic that's coming up in the next slide. So some of the areas were self-efficacy, support, perception, social media. Taking into consideration the Schlossberg transition theory and the four S's, I created this survey that still touched on those same topics. This is the infographic using the data from the survey. I created it to make data easier to read and have it shared on the website in a more creative way. Other visuals I used were content that came directly from the interviews I had with Citlali, who is an alumni, and Mr. Hernandez from Career Services. So these were all part of the interview, just from questions I asked, but I made it into some visuals that made the website look a little nicer and wasn't all just in text, in paragraphs, I mean. The logo, for me, one of the key elements of this website was the logo I created. At first, it was just an idea, but then I decided it would add a unique touch to the project. The roots of the tree are what keep the tree in place, similar to everything that makes us who we are and keep us grounded. The idea is that trees go through different stages year after year. Again, similar to how we do. We're constantly changing. Some takeaways. Contrary to what we might tell ourselves, we are pretty similar in how we deal with life transitions and have similar perceptions of it. But do take that with a grain of salt. If I had more participants, more surveys or more interviews, I'm sure the survey data could look a little different, but I think my point still stands. The three biggest sources of support students search for are either their own, independently, some people just deal with better alone, or their families and their friends and peers. This to me showed that it's very important and support how support is and that it plays a big role in how we tackle such big changes in our lives. For this project, I was very interested in how social media played a part in these perceptions and attitudes. The data showed that along with the four S's, there's maybe a fifth one: social media. The majority of the students agreed that social media has impacted the way they navigate their life transitions. Lessons learned. I made these as like taking in the survey responses and our interviews that I have with individuals. So these are some of the things I think people can take away from my project. There are no perfect paths in life. We are living this life for the first time, and that means that we are learning as we go. Life transitions happen for a reason, even if we don't know that reason now. Life has a way of reminding you later what that reason was. Fear does not make you weak or less than anyone else. You started this journey, for example, college, with an end goal in mind. So head towards that upcoming finish line with excitement. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.